Welcome to the Raging Takes podcast with your hosts, Brian Dixon, Kai Zabo, and Dylan Peters.
What up, you turkeys? Welcome to episode 142 of the Raging Takes podcast. Today is Saturday, January 25th, 2025. I'm your host, Brian Dixon, joined as always by my co-host, Kai the Commissioner Zabo, and Dylan Peters. What's up, dog?
Salutations.
Howdy doody.
Howdy doody. On today's show, we have the NFC Championship and AFC Championship preview. 3 more games left in this NFL season. We have some NFL news and the coaching carousel. A lot of jobs being filled since the last we spoke. And then, just like last week, we're going to do a little fantasy football game. Kai, you weren't here on the episode where we broke down the scoring and stuff, but you were last place, so I figured I'd give you first pick this time. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Is that how we should do it? And I'll be second, Dylan's third?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, we'll do that. Let's start with the coaching stuff. First up, the Raiders come to terms with Pete Carroll as head coach on a 3-year deal with a team option for a 4th year. Now, when Pete Carroll coaches in week 1 for the Raiders, he will become officially the oldest head coach in NFL history at 74 years of age, beating, I believe, Romeo Crennel when he coached the Texans. I think he was an interim head coach when he coached the Texans, but Romeo Crennel was 73 then. So Pete Carroll, obviously when Ben Johnson went to Chicago, this was kind of like the person that made the most sense, I think, for the Raiders job, and the person that was rumored to be the top candidate. Jerry Jones, I guess, called him a couple of days ago to see if he would have any interest in coaching the Cowboys. Apparently Pete Carroll said no. I don't mind it, honestly. I definitely wish he were younger. I'm not going to lie there. I'm worried about him going, okay, in 3 years, I'm just going to retire, and then the Raiders need another head coach. But if he comes in, sets like a tone for the culture, sets like a winning locker room up, you never know. Maybe it won't be that bad. Or maybe Pete Carroll will coach 10 years. And I mean, he is a very spry old man. Like, he definitely has a ton of energy. He moves around really well still. So the more I think about it, the more I like it, for sure. I've always loved Pete Carroll. The NFL's better when he's in it. But the age is a factor that makes me worry a little bit. But other than that, I think this is a really good hire for the Raiders. What do you guys think?
You want to go first, Dylan?
Yeah, I think it's a great hire.
Me too.
I mean, Pete Carroll, I think at this point for the Raiders, it's about stability. It's about bringing in a guy who's a leader of men. And I feel like they wanted that with Antonio Pierce, and it didn't necessarily work out. So I think with this experience comes, like, he knows a lot of people. Sure, he's going to put together a great staff. And hopefully the question was asked in the building during the interview, hey, Pete, what's your transition plan? What are you going to leave us with? Like, are you going to bring some guy in? Are you going to, train and bring up to speed the guy you're going to hand it off to? Is that part of it? I'm sure. I hope that was a question asked, Yeah,
I would assume so, but you never know. Never know with the Raiders.
Yeah, no, I mean, everything that Dylan said, I mean, it's pretty much just like, it's one of my favorite hires, to be honest with you. Like, I know that the age is a factor, but I mean, it seems like they have him on the perfect type of deal, like the perfect length of time too, for him to establish a system there. I mean, like what Dylan said, he's going to bring stability. He's a player's coach. Players respect him. He demands respect, honestly, and he gets it. I just love the move, though, too, because I really do believe that he can set up something nicely in the next 3 years, and if, like Dylan was saying, I think he's going to have a nice staff in place with all of the connections he's had throughout his entire coaching career. He will have his successor in place. He will train up a successor. I believe that much. And hopefully, if it all goes correctly, the Raiders should be a stable organization for the next decade, in my opinion.
Well, he has an option for the 4th year, and I believe he'll probably get, if the Raiders have any kind of success in the next 2 years, I believe he will probably get an extension and make it like a 5-year deal, cut out that option and pay him more, but
yeah,
that's all. It's all to be seen. But I love the hire, and I think Pete Carroll obviously has a plan. I mean, you know the amount of energy that's inside that guy's body.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that guy not coaching football? Let me ask you something. Name 5 things you think Pete Carroll was doing while not coaching football, and I bet you 4 out of those 5 have to do with football.
Well, I was like, wasn't he on the Seahawks staff this season too, like as a advisor of some sorts?
I don't know. Did he ever take that job?
No, he's a transitionary, I think, guy to help them find the next head coach.
Yeah.
But I bet you he was thinking about football, watching football movies,
reading about
football. And the last one, he's hanging out with his wife, and he starts talking about football with her.
Yeah, there you go. I was going to say, though, too, I mean, like, overall, we're not even talking about the fact that most likely Tom Brady had a hand in this. So if Tom Brady
he did.
Yeah, so, I mean, Tom Brady obviously knows what he's doing. He's probably thinking long-term for this organization. I think he knows what he's doing with this Pete Carroll hire.
I would like to believe that that's true, but we don't know that because we haven't seen Tom Brady in like a general manager-esque role. He isn't the general manager, but he was leading the charge on the Spytech hire, which is their
But
new
he's going to
GM.
have everyone's ear in the building, honestly.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that he's going to be good at this job. So I trust him.
Good.
I trust him, but it doesn't mean that we're not like safe because Tom Brady's
understandable.
Here,
Yeah.
So
yeah, dude.
We'll see. And I'm very interested to see what coordinators he brings in. I am scared to fucking death that he's going to hire Shane Waldron as offensive coordinator. We're just going to do the same exact shit we did last year. Because according to Dylan and according to my eyeballs, Shane Waldron and Luke Getsy are the same fucking person. So I'm a little worried about that, but I also don't really know who else is out there that would be a really good offensive coordinator that Pete Carroll would be familiar with. We'll just wait and see. I have no idea. And then the other thing is, what do the Raiders do at quarterback now? Russell Wilson is now being thrown out there. Rumors, obviously, Russ and Pete Carroll won a Super Bowl together, went to another one together.
I mean,
it would make sense. I don't know if I would despise it, but I definitely wouldn't be excited about Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, I saw you guys talking about it in our group chat like over the last few days, but I saw you guys talking about Geno Smith, and I was thinking about it more and more to myself. I was like, I kind of like that. I don't know.
So Geno posted a picture of him and Pete Carroll on Instagram yesterday. As far as I know, no context to it. It could have just been read as, congrats to my old head coach. I really like Pete Carroll. Good luck in Las Vegas. Or maybe it's like, hey, maybe I could go over there with him. Right. Apparently, they need to I don't know. I've read something very small about this, but I think that the Seahawks and Geno need to negotiate a contract or something like that, or to keep him. Or I don't know if he's
probably.
Yeah. So I saw that there is a chance that Geno isn't on the Seahawks next year. So if that's the case and he's available, I would absolutely trade for Geno Smith. That's the best quarterback option I've heard so far, easily. And you're probably not gonna win the Super Bowl with Geno Smith, but that is a definitely an upgrade at quarterback than what you had last year, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, especially with the Raiders situation now, with their current draft spot, they're probably not going to be able to get, one of the top 2 quarterbacks in this draft. But what I think they could do is they can grab a project quarterback maybe in the later rounds, and, you start Geno for 1 year. I don't think that's a bad plan.
The thing is, though, too, I don't want to just draft a quarterback to draft a quarterback. Draft one if you think they're good. If not, then just skip it again and then give the team to Geno, because it's if Geno's the starting quarterback, you don't have to draft a quarterback this year. You can just see what happens next year and draft one next year, and hopefully the class is better, or hopefully there's another free agent quarterback or somebody wants to trade. I'm perfectly fine with Geno being a bridge quarterback to the next thing, but AOC, Russ, even Minshew technically would still be on the roster. I think they'll probably cut him if I had to imagine, if they can. I don't know how much money they would lose doing that, but I just think Geno is a clear-cut upgrade where if it's AOC or Russ next year starting, I'm just not going to be all that excited. I think Russ has the potential to do the same exact thing AOC and Gardner Minshew did this year. So
if there's Ted McMillan there at number 6.
Oh, yeah.
And you've got Geno Smith, dude. And then you have Brock Bowers, and then you have Jacoby Myers. You could put a really good passing offense out there. And Geno Smith has shown, by the way, I don't know if you guys remember this, Geno Smith has shown that he is capable of leading the league in passing yards.
Yeah, That's why I love it. That's why I love it so much. The idea so much.
He wouldn't be playing in the rain anymore either. It's a indoor stadium in Vegas. I think that would probably help his numbers a little bit too.
And you're playing in pretty. I mean, you get to play KC, but playing in LA,
Chargers, Broncos.
It is what it is. It's like I think the Raiders are in the right direction. Is what I'm saying. I think that Pete Carroll will make the right decisions and be a good coach on the field.
All right. One last thing before we move on. AFC West now has Andy Reid, Jim Harbaugh, Pete Carroll, and Sean Payton as the four head coaches.
It's like peak 2011 again.
Dude, that's the four horsemen of the mid 2000s.
Yeah,
and you got to think about it too. Harbaugh and Carroll have been rivals for a long time. They were in the Pac-10 together in college, Stanford and USC. So they played, I think, 3 times in college. Then they played a bunch of times in the Seahawks versus Niners rivalry. When that rivalry was at its peak, for sure. When they went to the NFC Championship game and Richard Sherman screaming in Aaron Andrews' face and shit like that. So
dude, that's some like all-time coaching lore.
Yeah.
Like that's like crazy lore for like a book.
I think that division in the AFC has the potential, just the potential, to be like the NFC North was this year in the AFC. I think that division can supply 3 10-win teams very easily. Yeah. They almost did it this year, I believe. Maybe they did. I'm not sure. But like I'm talking about, all these teams could make the playoffs. You could add the Raiders in there eventually.
They did this year. Broncos were 3rd place. They had 10 wins. Okay. Next up, Jaguars hire Liam Cohen, who is the Buccaneers offensive coordinator, as head coach after firing Trent Baalke as general manager. This is kind of a weird timeline. So a couple weeks ago, there was an interview with Shad Khan, the owner of the Jaguars, and Trent Baalke, who was the general manager at the time. And basically, Shad Khan said that he would fire Trent Baalke. Basically, they're on the same call together. He said he would fire him as a general manager if the head coach wanted him to, whatever head coach they found. And I think they really wanted Liam Cohen. Probably wanted Ben Johnson too, to be honest with you. Really wanted Liam Cohen.
From what I've heard, they wanted Liam Cohen more than anyone.
Really?
Yeah. He's sold.
So he was going to go back to Tampa Bay on like the biggest contract in the NFL for a coordinator, and never ended up signing it. Jaguars were like, never mind, we'll fire Baalke then. And then Liam Cohen's like, okay, I'm listening. Comes back in, and now he's the head coach. Apparently, there was like a panic going on too, that it seemed like, for the Buccaneers, because he wasn't like returning their calls. Like Adam Schefter was reporting about it. It was like, Liam Cohen has been unresponsive to the Buccaneers, or something like that. I was like, okay, this is some crazy drama a little bit for a fucking offensive coordinator. But honestly, I like this move personally. The Buccaneers offense was pretty good this year. I think that this is going to help Brian Thomas Jr. a lot. It's going to be like that Mike Evans role. I think that Liam Cohen is going to be able to scheme him open just a ton. Trevor Lawrence is the big question. If he can unlock something in Trevor Lawrence, that's the key. If he can't, he might not be there that long. If he can, though, the Jaguars might be able to turn this ship around. I mean, it'll be interesting to see.
I was going to ask you guys, though, too. I mean, don't you think that maybe Mac Jones warrants some kind of quarterback competition over there? I know they're paying Trevor Lawrence a lot of money, but I mean, you have to admit that at times Mac Jones looked all right.
And then at times Mac Jones looks like Mac Jones.
Yeah. I mean, but it's the same thing with Trevor Lawrence, though. It's like...
Yeah, but I think T-Law still has potential to correct the ship. I mean, Mac Jones is young, too. I think he's younger than Trevor Lawrence, probably, but...
They were drafted the same year.
Or they, I don't know. I don't see it in Mac Jones. I think Trevor Lawrence still has a chance, but Mac Jones I think he's going to be a very like solid backup for his entire career, and he'll probably make a good career doing it, because I think he would be like a top tier backup, to be honest with you. He can come in and win you a game, but he also can come in and throw just horrible back-breaking interceptions.
I mean, he could also make your rookie wide receiver a number 1 over there in that offense.
Trevor Lawrence was very good with Brian Thomas Jr. too.
That's true.
That's not fair.
Yeah, you're right.
I think that Shad Khan so severely does not want to be wrong about Trevor Lawrence that he's going to pound that dude into the ground trying to make it work. I think that's what this hire is all about. Liam Cohen's an interesting fellow, turns out. He's a really interesting fellow. He's had an interesting career. Started coaching in 2010, so not tons of experience, but 15 years. He started at Brown. He left Brown in 2011 to go to Rhode Island to be their passing game coordinator and quarterbacks coach. He went back to Brown for 2 years as the pass game coordinator and quarterbacks coach. And then he went to UMass in 2014, a year later, as the pass game quarterback coach, whatever. So that's 5 jobs in 5 years. Okay. Mm-hmm. Then in 2016, he went to Maine as their offensive coordinator. That's 6 jobs in 6 years. He accepted offensive coordinator position at Holy Cross in 2018, and then he went to the Rams instead. So this is what he did just now, but to Holy Cross. He took Holy Cross's job and then snuck off in the night to take the Rams job. Okay. And then he was hired by the Rams in 2018. And then he went to Kentucky, and then he went back to the Rams, and then he went back to Kentucky. And then he got hired as the offensive coordinator, and less than a year later, he's the head coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So what's your point here?
He was never in one place for more than one season.
Ever?
Well, the point that I thought you were trying to get across is that he's been so experienced in so many different positions that he might be capable for this job.
I don't think that's what he was getting at.
No,
well,
dude,
that was my guess.
He skipped around, like constantly going to different places.
Are you suggesting then that teams don't like him? Is that what you're suggesting?
I'm suggesting he's a grifter. And he's gonna fucking fuck up the Jags even worse. This is gonna be terrible.
So do you think
he's gonna be a head coach? What about this says he's a head coach?
Yeah, I mean, initially my initial thoughts were, he might just be one of those offensive coordinators that probably won't pan out as a head coach. He might just be a really good coordinator. And also on top of that, the Jags situation is awful. This is going to be a tough job for anybody.
Yeah. I'm more optimistic about it than you guys. I'm a little more optimistic about it.
I think he's a good offensive mind, obviously, from what he ran with the Buccaneers. And Dave Canales did the same thing for the Buccaneers in one season. So they've pumped out 2 really good offensive coordinators. We'll find out. But what I'm saying is, I think the dude has had like 11 jobs in 15 years that have led to being a head coach in the NFL. And I understand the experience, this and that. But this is like a huge ascension, super fast.
How many years has he worked in the NFL total?
So he worked in 2018 and 2020. Okay. And then 2022, 2023, this will be his 5th year.
Okay.
His 5th year in the NFL, he's a head coach.
I see that. I see the hesitation. I see your point. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look trustworthy just based on bouncing around from jobs so fast, but that could also just from being so good and just constantly promoting yourself, Yeah,
I guess producing that offense in Tampa Bay last year with Baker Mayfield throwing 40 touchdowns, I guess the proof is in the pudding that his scheme works.
But will it translate to head coaching? That's what remains to be seen. Yeah.
He's going to want to call plays, obviously.
And then on the other side for Tampa Bay, too, this will be the 9th different offensive play caller in 9 seasons for Baker Mayfield. That's pretty rough. I know he had like a new one every single year in Cleveland, and then he bounced around for a couple of years, and now he had Dave Canales last year, and now Liam Cohen is gone for him. So,
so they're either getting fired or getting head coaching jobs.
Basically, yeah. Next up, the Jets. They hire Aaron Glenn, the Lions defensive coordinator, as head coach on a 5-year deal. He used to play for the Jets back in the day, back in the 90s. I believe he got drafted by the Jets. This makes sense to me, I think. Aaron Glenn was one of the hotter names on the market. Sure. This is such a snake-bitten job. Like, I would be so... I think the Jets made a good move hiring Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn going into the Jets job, I'm sure like every head coach thinks that they can like turn a team around, but it's like the Jets are especially now after like the Rodgers shit, The Jets just seem cursed, man. This is going to be the biggest uphill climb that any of these guys have to make. I think the Jets, the culture is just so bad there. The owner is so bad there. You have to figure out the Rodgers situation. Is he coming back? If he doesn't come back, who is going to start? This seems like a disaster, just the situation itself. But Aaron Glenn is a good hire. Hopefully he gets that full 5 years to try to turn this baby around, because it might take that long.
Man, I mean, it is a good hire, but dude, the situation sucks. Like, you're right. This is like probably the worst job on the market. Like, I'm surprised. Like, I'm not even sure if like Mike Vrabel would have an easy time with this job, because that's just how poorly mismanaged this franchise has been. I mean, for God's sakes, you're gonna have to tiptoe around a teenager making decisions, it seems like now. So
Brick Johnson?
Yeah, Brick Johnson. There you go. But yeah, I'm with you. I love the hire. I just hate the situation. It really is such an uphill climb here for Aaron Glenn.
Yeah. I don't think there's a chance he even finishes that 5-year deal.
No, definitely
You don't think so?
not. No.
No. And you know what, dude? The worse and worse the Jets get, the more and more my conspiracy theory that Aaron Rodgers infiltrated the Jets, despite the Johnson family, because of the vaccines, is fucking working.
That is a hilarious conspiracy theory. I don't believe it myself, but it is so funny, honestly.
It's happening right in front of us.
Next up, the Cowboys hire Brian Schottenheimer, their offensive coordinator, as head coach on a 4-year deal. This one was a little perplexing, I feel like. Jerry Jones just doing his Jerry Jones thing.
God, you should see the social media right now.
I was going to say, apparently Cowboys fans are furious about this.
Dude, it is so bad right now.
I know Jared wasn't happy. Our buddy Jared, who's a Cowboys fan, I know he was not happy. I imagine nobody's happy about this. It doesn't really make sense that much. What were you going to say, Dylan?
I was going to say it's because the media and delusional Cowboys fans and all these fucking buffoons are like, the Cowboys job is the most like sought after job in sports. No, it's fucking not. It's 2025. It's not sought after because you have this old crypt keeper looking motherfucker staring at you at every meeting, making decisions for you. So no, it's not sought after. So you know what happened? Jerry Jones was sitting in the room with Mike McCarthy, and Mike McCarthy was just like kind of over his shit, and maybe he was a little passive aggressive. They were kind of bickering, and Jerry Jones just, fuck you, you're fired. Get out of here. Get out of my office. Get out. And then as soon as he left, he goes, oh no, what have I done?
I should have done this 2 weeks ago.
Oh, everybody's already interviewed. I've missed the deadlines. Oh, bring Brian in here. He's good at making me feel better. Bring Shoddy in here. And then boom, head coach.
Jerry Jones had a hilarious quote last night too. He said, Brian Schottenheimer is known as a career assistant. He ain't Brian no more. He is now known as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, which offended me a little bit because who the fuck is Jerry Jones to tell someone they're not a Brian anymore?
That's not your name. What if someone would be like,
that's
you're
not your
Jerry.
job, bud.
You're not Jerry anymore. You're the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. You shall remain nameless.
I feel like he meant to say he's not an assistant no more. He's now the head, but he just said he's not Brian anymore. He's still Brian. I'll tell you what, he is still Brian. He'll always be Brian.
Yeah. He's not Marty.
Are they related? They have to be related, right? Is he the son?
I mean,
Marty Schottenheimer? It's got to be, right?
I mean, it's such a unique last name. You'd be almost right to assume.
I would assume. He doesn't necessarily look like him.
A lot of guys don't look like their dads.
That's true. And his dad, I remember him as a very old man, so maybe he does look like him. Who knows? I was going to say something else about this too. Oh, Eberflus. So I didn't really see this reported by anybody like Schefter or anything like that, but I did see this morning Ed Werder actually reported last night that the Cowboys hired him as defensive coordinator. So Ed Werder is the Cowboys guy for ESPN. So I would trust his sources. So I will probably come out and admit that I think Eberflus has been hired.
I will say I do like the Eberflus hire as defensive coordinator. Yeah. I mean, just knowing what I know from Dylan, Eberflus does know defense. Like we saw the team take a big dip in defense once Eberflus got fired. So, I mean, if he's just relegated to just defense, it might be good for the Cowboys.
And Indy had a good defense while Eberflus was there. That's why he got the head coaching job. So it's just like three. And the Cowboys have the most talent on their defense. of any team he's ever coached. So
You think even more than the Bears? I don't know. Bears had some.
Yes.
yeah,
Dude, the Bears don't have Micah Parsons.
That's true. Yeah.
the Bears have
Trayvon
Dalen
Diggs,
Johnson,
Jerome Bland.
Jerome Bland. Those two corners. You get a couple other guys in there.
Get some free agents. Get a good draft.
I can tell you, dude, the Cowboys are probably going to sign 2 crazy linebackers this offseason.
Probably.
All in ever. They're just going to what? Who? Oh no. Yeah, he is the son of Marty Schottenheimer.
Okay.
I don't know, dude. I kind of see it as like a lateral move. Like they just laterally moved coaches.
Yeah, I agree. I honestly, it might be a downgrade because, like, same thing with you're talking about Liam. Who knows if Brian Schottenheimer is a good head coach? Like, at least Mike McCarthy can like manage the organizations that like he is a head coach. Yeah, I just don't know if he's like the best head coach. So I agreed with him. He should have been fired like immediately instead of like letting his contract run out. Did they do that maybe to be petty with the Bears or something for requesting to interview him? I don't know. That didn't really make much sense. I guess it doesn't have to in Jerry Jones's world, but
they actually got Ben Johnson to the Bears because if they would have interviewed Mike McCarthy when they asked, maybe they hire him.
Very true. It's very true. So shout out Jerry Jones.
Dude, just always making stuff happen.
Yep. And then last but not least, Robert Saleh back with the Niners as defensive coordinator, which I think this is a great move. He had a lot of success there as defensive coordinator.
Oh, yeah.
And a Super Bowl appearance.
And a Super Bowl appearance. I think the Niners are going to revamp that team just a little bit, kind of like retool on offense and defense. And I think they'll probably be good again next year. And I think Robert Saleh is probably a really good defensive coordinator. So
welcome back.
I think it's a good move. Yep. Okay. Let's get to the conference championship preview. First up, Commanders at Eagles. Dallas Goedert will play. Has a bum ankle, but he is not going to miss this game. Deron Payne is questionable with a knee and a finger injury. I would expect him to play as well. Here we go, Kai. Are you nervous? How do you feel?
I am very nervous. Yes, I said it a few times last week on the pod and off the pod. I think I would have rather played the Lions.
Oh my goodness.
There is so much familiarity between these two teams in just this short season that we've had, and the second time the Redskins won, I know, granted, Jalen Hurts got hurt in that game. We had Penny Pickett come in. But the thing that was concerning...
Penny Pickett? You've been playing Marvel Rivals too much.
Kenny Pickett, sorry. No, but the most concerning part about that second time that we played the Commanders was the fact that we gave up 5 passing touchdowns to Jaden Daniels, and he really looked like he was hitting his stride, and still looks like he's there now. So I know we're at home this time around, but man, I am not counting this Commanders team out for a second, because if you saw what happened last week against the Rams, we tried to let them get back into it because my Eagles love to stress me out more than anything in this world.
And I'll tell you what, if you let Jaden Daniels back into it in the fourth quarter, he's going to make you pay. So you need to snuff this out immediately. I think the Eagles need to win convincingly, I think. Otherwise they're going to be stressing.
Yeah, because man, this defense has shown that they can. This defense, despite being top of the line in the league, they have shown that they can be vulnerable to Jaden Daniels and this offense, which is so gritty. They play so hard. God damn it, I love Jaden Daniels so much, and I hate that he's in this division, and it's so crazy what he's doing this year. And I am so nervous, but man, I got to have faith in my team. I got to take my team. I have to believe that we got to get the stops. I have to believe we want to get to the Super Bowl. So we're at home. I got to go with my team.
So I want to point out that when the Eagles won, Jalen Hurts was healthy. When the Commanders won, it was Kenny Pickett, obviously. Now Jalen Hurts is back, but he's not 100%. He's banged up a little bit, injured himself last week. I think he was dealing with an injury coming into that game too. Am I right?
Well, it was a concussion, but yeah.
Oh, that's right. It was a concussion. So I think that having Hurts back obviously is going to be important because, I mean, the Commanders winning with the backup quarterback, especially with Kenny Pickett too. Like Kenny Pickett is not impressive at all. I think he had a touchdown in that game, but he sucks. So I think that's a big part of it. If Hurts is fully healthy in that game, do the Eagles sweep the Commanders this year? I would guess probably.
It was close enough to say that it could. Yeah.
I'm gonna pick the Commanders. I think Jalen Hurts not being fully healthy might hurt them a little bit. AJ Brown has been basically disappeared. So I think that's a big part of it. If Hurts is fully healthy in that game, do the Eagles sweep the Commanders this year? I would guess probably. I'm going to pick the Commanders. I'm going to I think Jalen Hurts not being fully healthy might hurt them a little bit. AJ Brown has been basically disappeared like most of the last like month. They couldn't really pass the ball all that well last week. The Commanders are just hot. I think they believe in themselves right now. They believe in themselves because they beat Philly already, even if it was Kenny Pickett. I just think that if the Eagles keep it close, like I said before, I think that Jaden Daniels is going to make you pay in the fourth quarter. He's just the most clutch quarterback right now. I think that's going to continue. I think the Eagles have to just step on their throats and just come out firing, hand the ball to Saquon 30 times, and just try to like run up the score fast. Because if you just like keep it close, I think the Commanders are going to make them pay. I think the Eagles get out to like a 14-0 lead and the Commanders come back and win. That's my prediction. So I'm gonna go commies.
All right. I think this game is going to come down to the trenches. It's going to come down to, can the Washington offensive line, down Sam Cosmi now, can they withstand just the constant barrage? And I'm talking about nobody applies the pressure to your offensive line like the Eagles, especially this season. Like just the interior of that defensive line. I think it will be too much for that offensive line, especially down their best player against guys like Jalen Carter. You know, it's kind of.
And Jalen Carter has been a freaking monster over the last month.
It's a very heavy task for someone to come in.
Yeah, and not even to mention, man, Saquon is just so undeniable at this point. Is the Washington defense going to be able to contain him? I mean, it comes down to so many things, but I feel like from top to bottom, when you look at all the matchups across the board, I think the Eagles should have this one. Granted, they don't do anything stupid, of course.
The only thing that kind of worries me about Philly is Cam Jurgens is questionable. Back is hurt.
Yeah.
I wonder how much that will actually affect them as well, because when your center is...
It's the most important position on that O-line.
If you have to play with a different center, stuff changes.
Yeah. You can't call the audibles as well. You can't read the coverages as well because you don't have your captain of the O-line right there. Yeah.
I'm still going to take the Eagles, and I don't think this will be a close game, not a manhandling. I think it will be a relatively high-scoring game. I think the Eagles will get into the 30s. I'm thinking like a 31-27 type game. Maybe the Eagles actually have a game-winning drive in the fourth quarter and then make a defensive stop to win the game. I think that's what this will be. I think Washington ends up leading parts of this game, being ahead, but that's just how football is, boys. I think the Eagles got what it takes.
I'm going to be so stressed out starting.
I think the Eagles will make some key defensive stops against them because they do have the best defense left in the playoffs, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too.
By far, too.
Maybe not by far. Bills are pretty good too, but
and the Chiefs, no slouches either.
I like the Eagles defense though.
Oh Jesus, I lost my train of thought. I was going to say something else. Quinyon Mitchell. I didn't see him on the injury report. He's playing, I assume.
Yeah,
right?
They were talking about it like a few days after the injury. They were already saying it was nothing serious and that everything should be fine. Yeah, so hopefully, Quinyon Mitchell will be out there on the field because he's been fantastic this season as well.
Okay. Next up, Bills at Chiefs. No injuries for Kansas City at all. Taylor Rapp is out with a back and a hip injury. For Buffalo, this obviously is a pretty one-sided rivalry, especially in the playoffs. The Chiefs have won, 2 or 3 matchups in the playoffs against Buffalo. This feels like the best chance that Buffalo has, though, right? Like, this is the best Josh Allen that we've seen. Their defense is pretty good, and it's healthy now, other than Taylor Rapp. A little bit of a playmaker issue, I would say, but they still fight through it and win most of their games. I think the Bills are a very popular pick this week by a lot of people to beat the Chiefs, and I don't know if I'm there. I don't know if I'm going to pick against Patrick Mahomes, dude. I don't know if I'm going to do it. Because the Chiefs are still the Chiefs until they lose. It's just like, at this point, it's like picking against Brady. You'd have to be, you're like a daredevil picking against Tom Brady, you know? I feel the same way. I'm going to be rooting for Buffalo. I want Buffalo to win for sure. I'm tired of seeing the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. But it's undeniable, man. Patrick Mahomes is too good in the playoffs. Travis Kelce is too good in the playoffs. Andy Reid knows everything that you're going to do and has a plan for everything that you might change. I think the Chiefs win. I think it'll be close, but I think Mahomes is just going to have another notch on his belt against Allen. I don't think it's time for Josh to beat him yet.
Yeah, it's like the Chiefs are the smart pick, but I think I just want to go against destiny here and pick Buffalo. This is their best chance. And god damn it, man, if there is a god, we will not see a Chiefs dynasty become a thing with a third Super Bowl win in a row. Like, please, please, please. Anything but that. Like, if my team has to lose for the Chiefs to not win a Super Bowl, I will take it. That's how crazy it is.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, like I don't want another dynasty. I think the whole football community doesn't want another dynasty. You know, I think it would just be so great for football if the Chiefs lost.
So you'd rather see Commanders Bills instead of the Eagles losing to the Chiefs,
or if the Commanders somehow beat the Chiefs? Yeah.
Okay.
If I could foresee those outcomes like Doctor Strange, yeah.
I think you would go straight for an Eagles win. I think Kai, if he could see the outcomes, would pick the one that led straight to.
If you asked me if Buffalo doesn't beat the Chiefs, I think the Eagles over the Commanders have the best chance to beat the Chiefs. We would be the last chance, I think, to stop this Chiefs dynasty.
Way that Kansas City played against Houston is not going to cut it versus Buffalo.
Absolutely. That's been that's been the whole story all year. They play just pedestrian offense and it just works.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to probably need to score more than 23 to beat the Bills, but that's just me. Even if it's a defensive struggle, I think both of these teams will end up having enough firepower to score a little bit. But man, the Bills have been playing really good football pretty much all year, and they're no slouches, dude. They won 13 games. They put up 525 points. Like, I don't think that'll necessarily stop. And I honestly think it's about time we see Josh Allen in a Super Bowl. I'm picking the Bills to win this game.
Hey.
Brother. Fuck logic.
So you guys are both picking Eagles Bills for the Super Bowl, and I'm picking Commanders Chiefs. I am notoriously bad at picking the conference championship round, so you guys are probably going to be right here. But
hey, honestly, an Eagles Bills Super Bowl would be great for everybody. I don't see how anyone could hate that Super Bowl.
I think Commanders Bills is like America's dream right now.
That would be a fun one too. I can't even lie.
Honestly, I think any of these Chiefs obviously are the least fun, but I think any of the matchups would be fun. Super Bowl, because if let's say you get Commanders Chiefs, all of a sudden you get this narrative. It's like a David versus Goliath narrative, you know, where it's like only Jaden Daniels is standing in the way of a Chiefs dynasty. It's like, well, I think the Chiefs already technically have a dynasty, right? They've won, like 3 and 5 years. I would consider that a dynasty personally.
7 straight conference championships is definitely a dynasty.
But still, you can stop them from getting a 3-peat, and Jaden Daniels is our last hope. Like, that's fucking epic, honestly.
Not to mention the first rookie quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl. That would be
awesome.
Yeah, I'm
sorry, but
yeah,
I think the storyline of the Commanders and the Bills playing in the Super Bowl and then the Bills losing a Super Bowl to a rookie quarterback is just almost too good to not think about.
Would not be good for our friend Joey. Yeah.
I mean, it would show the curse. The curse would be like, here's my face. If you were wondering before, yes, you're cursed. Sorry.
All right. Let's get to the fantasy contest then. Same as last week. We're just going to do a snake draft. Kai, you're on the clock, sir.
And it's just okay. Let's see. Oh man.
Hold on. There we go.
Thank you.
So 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 2 receivers, 1 tight end.
Yes, sir.
All right. Just based on.
I mean, there's an obvious.
I know. Here. I'm just going for pure star power here. Give me Saquon Barkley.
Okay. If you would have fucked that up, come on, dude.
I mean, you could have talked yourself into Josh Allen.
I don't know if you could. Yeah, I mean, obviously that's a great pick, right? Saquon Barkley, he has the highest ceiling of all the players left for sure. Like yeah, he could have 40 points without breaking a sweat, like in the third quarter. So
Yeah.
Okay, I'm next, right? Yes, I'm next. Okay, so Commanders, Eagles, Bills, and Chiefs. I'm gonna go ahead and pick. Oh man, this is actually Saquon's the only obvious one. Now I feel like I can do almost anything here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to just run through the options very quickly in my head. I'm gonna go Travis Kelce.
Travis.
I'm gonna go Kelce. I think there's definitely good enough tight ends for all of us to have, but this is the weakest position I think of the four teams, where just talent wise, all of them put together. And Travis Kelce is just a fucking monster in the playoffs. He had a season high in yardage last week in the divisional round. He had like most of Patrick Mahomes' yardage. I'm going Travis Kelce. I think that this is a no-brainer move.
And I'm drafting on the turn.
Yes, sir. So you get two of them.
I'm just going to take Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown. So you get the stack.
Mm-hmm.
Are you concerned that AJ Brown might have more books on the sideline than receptions?
No.
Okay.
I think that you can only hold down a big man so long. You can only scheme things so long. And I think Saquon's probably going to bust a hole up the middle of that defense and really destroy that game plan for the Washington's defense.
Okay, so 3 of the 4 players picked so far have been Eagles. I'm next up. And, oh, man. This is stupid of me to do. Hold on. Let me think about this for a second. This might be stupid of me to do. I'm going Jaden Daniels. I'm going to go Jaden Daniels. I may regret that over Josh Allen just a little bit. Who knows? But I think he has just as much potential as Josh Allen does to make some plays.
Yes.
He comes through clutch in fantasy football every single week. This is a fantasy football game. He really only had 2 bad games all year. One of them was to the Eagles, to be fair, but still. So one of his best games was against the Eagles too. So I'll go Jaden Daniels.
I'll tell you what, I was considering Jaden Daniels right here too, but since you did that, I'm just going to take Josh Allen. I'm just going for star power right here.
You get another one.
Oh, I do. I'm on the turn as well.
If you would had some strategy, you would have left Josh Allen for last because me and Dylan can't pick quarterbacks anymore.
That's okay either way.
Okay.
Oh, man. Oh, this is tough. This is going to be a weird one, but I think just because of the matchup and I think because maybe the pass game could funnel through him, I'm going to take Dallas Goedert. I know that's kind of crazy.
Okay. Dallas Goedert for Kai. So just so many damn Eagles here. Okay. Is it me again? Yeah, it is me again. So I got running back and both of my receivers still. I gotta say, there's not like a shit ton of star power receiver wise.
There really isn't. Yeah.
I think there's only one left, really, or maybe, I guess 2 left. I'll go Terry McLaurin. I'll get the Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin stack.
Fuck.
I believe Terry had a pretty good game against Philadelphia, right, in Washington, if I remember correctly. So I think he could probably pop off again, even if like Quinyon Mitchell's shadowing him, or even Darius Slay, who's honestly been amazing in the playoffs. I know it's only been 1 game, but he had a very good game last week.
All right.
Oh no, there's been 2 games. I'm sorry.
You still have a running back left to draft, right, Brian?
I do.
So I'm going to pick James Cook.
Okay.
And I think...
Not Ray Davis.
Not Ray Davis, no.
Okay.
And I think this is my final pick here. No, I got a receiver and a tight end, right?
You have a receiver and a tight end left, yes. While you're thinking about it, I'll just read off the boards. I have Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin, Travis Kelce. Dylan's got Jalen Hurts, James Cook, AJ Brown. Kai has Josh Allen, Saquon, and Dallas Goedert.
I'm just going to make this fun for myself.
Okay.
And what I think I'm going to do
No.
is choose a receiver here.
Okay.
And with that receiver, I know it's like I'm gonna end up having to do whatever, but I'm gonna choose De'Ami Brown.
Ooh.
Oh, I was not expecting that. Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have AJ Brown and De'Ami Brown.
the Brown brothers.
Yeah, dude. Okay, I like that. Yeah, you just like how he's been performing.
Yeah, I think he's their yardage leader so far in the playoffs, and he's a target monster right now. I think
big play guy too, for sure.
Yeah, I think this is the offense. They could be trying to have to throw the ball a lot. You never know.
I had that stat on Tuesday where he had never had a 5-reception game in his career until the playoffs, and he has 5 receptions in both playoff games.
Mm-hmm.
He had 5 and 6. So he's peaking at the right time right now. Okay, that's an interesting one. There isn't really like a clear-cut receiver left, honestly. So I don't hate it. That is a fun pick. Okay, it is now back to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I have running back, wide receiver left. I'll go my other wide receiver. I'm going to go Khalil Shakur.
Okay.
I just think that he's Josh Allen's favorite target. He could easily just have like 2 catches in this game, or he could have like 7 for 95 and a touchdown. Who knows? So I'll go Khalil Shakur. I think he's the best option on the Bills.
All right, so I just have 2 wide receivers left.
Oof, Slim Pickens.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to take DeAndre Hopkins as one.
Okay, he had 0 catches last week.
I know.
Do you know that?
Yeah,
okay.
So I know, I'm just kind of, it's a crapshoot at wide receiver, so I'm just going to take my pick on which one I think will perform something, and because he didn't do anything last week, maybe the tides will shift.
Okay.
For my last one, definitely a crapshoot. I'm just going to go for a guy that I think could maybe get a touchdown in this game, and that's going to be Keon Coleman.
Oh, okay. Are you scared that he might have 1 catch for 60 yards and a touchdown, and that's it?
That's okay.
That's enough for you? That probably would be enough. So,
what about Devontae Smith?
The thing is, I have
Xavier Worthy too.
I had Devonta in mind. Worthy's is so inconsistent too, but I had Devonta in mind. But I was like, man, if I do him, Goddard, and Saquon, it's a lot of fun winning Eagles offense.
Is it Devonta? It's Devontae, right? Is it Devonta?
Depends on who you ask.
Dylan. Do you know which one it is? Okay,
it's Devontae, dude.
I know that's too. I've heard him say Devonta a few times. I was just like, did I hear that wrong? Okay. I'm next. I have 1 pick left. It's running back. So, I mean, you guys have already picked. James Cook's off the board. Saquon's off the board, obviously. So that leaves me with what? Brian Robinson,
Eckler, Kareem
Hunt, or Pacheco.
Yeah.
Or Kenneth Gainwell. I'll just go Brian Robinson, I guess. I just have 3 commanders now, I guess, but he is the best. Oh, actually, Kareem Hunt, maybe. Hold on, let me read. I haven't turned the card in. Hold on. Brian Robinson against the Eagles or Kareem Hunt against the Bills. I'm gonna go Kareem Hunt. I've been changed my mind. I'm gonna go Kareem Hunt. He might only get 9 carries, but I think he can get a touchdown. Okay. So I'll go Kareem Hunt.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All those commanders scared me there when I saw that. There's a chance the Eagles just completely shut them down, and I get like 0 points out of that.
I have the last pick here, and my only pick can be a tight end.
Yes.
So
I know who I'm picking.
Zach Ertz is available, right?
Yes.
I believe I have
Noah Gray is available.
Ooh.
Noah Gray is Dalton Kincaid is available.
I would actually take Noah Gray over Kincaid, honestly.
I would take him over Kincaid. I would take Ertz over all of them personally.
So my team is. So I would have De'Ami Brown. I would have De'Ami Brown and Zach Ertz.
Yes.
Or I would have Noah Gray.
It's true. You don't have any Chiefs.
Dude.
Do it.
Do it. Do it.
You know how sometimes Noah Gray has these.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's why I would take him over Kincaid, who gets nothing.
But Zach Ertz too.
The thing
You know
is,
what?
though,
He's old.
in the playoffs, though, Kelsey gets everything. Has Noah Gray ever had like a defining playoff moment? I can't think of one.
I'm gonna take Noah Gray for his defining moment this week.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So I got all the colors names. Gray,
Oh
brown,
my God.
brown.
You do.
Cook Hurts. Good colors.
Dude,
It hurts to cook brown, gray.
I can just hear Joey's voice complaining about Noah Gray for years to come now in my head. So
over Dalton Kincaid.
is that based on talent?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so let's read them off here. I have Jaden Daniels, Kareem Hunt, Terry McLaurin, Khalil Shakir, and Travis Kelce. Dylan has Jalen Hurts, James Cook, AJ Brown, De'Ami Brown, Noah Gray. Kai has Josh Allen, Saquon, DeAndre Hopkins, Keon Coleman, and Dallas Goedert. I would say the only person that I'm like, I said the two people that I'm like shocked that didn't get drafted, I would say are Ertz and Devontae Smith, formerly known as Devonta.
Yeah.
I think those are the big two right there. And I guess Mahomes. But all these other quarterbacks are just better fantasy quarterbacks than Mahomes is. So, okay. Then that's it for us. We'll be back on Tuesday for the recap of the conference finals. You can find us at Raging Takes everywhere. Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You can email us, ragingtakes@gmail.com. I'm at Montana Sauce on Twitter. Kai is at RTP Kai. Dylan is at Such a Wise Fool. We'll see you on Tuesday. Peace.